I'm Laura from Jimmy Bean's Wool, and we are downstairs in my yarn room, and I was going to share with you kind of some how-tos or how I do things to work on a project that I'm knitting right now. I'm making a little baby cardigan, a hooded cardigan for a friend of mine. It's a Knitting Pure and Simple pattern, and it's from the top down. Here are the little sleeves. Here it's going to be a cardigan, so here's the little front band, and then I'm going from the top down, obviously. And you start at the hood. One of the instructions is to sew the hood seam together. So I need to sew from here to there together. And I'd like for it to look as invisible as possible. I guess if I thought about it, in the beginning, I should have done a provisional cast on, which I think we have a video for. And that would have kept all these stitches alive, and then I could have done a 3-needle bind off, and that would have made it invisible, but I wasn't thinking in the beginning. I got about this far before I realized it, and I wasn't taking it out. So anyway, I thought I would show you guys how I'm going to sew it together, and you can decide if you think it looks good enough for you to do it yourself. Alright. Oops, sorry. His needles are loud. So, what we're doing, tell me if that's a good place. Can you see that? What you need a darning needle. I use a big-eyed one. And then you need a little bit of extra yarn. And pick matching yarn. I mean, you want to have the yarn that you're using because these stitches are going to show up. So, you just thread your darning needle. I guess you can't see that, huh? Thread your darning needle. And we're going to start at this open end here. And the idea, it's kind of tricky to begin with. It's kind of a pain. But once you get going, it becomes really obvious. It's really just these first couple stitches that are not so much fun to deal with. But the idea is, we're going to kind of sew this together kind of like this, but you won't be able to see the seam here. So that it just looks like it's one continuous piece of fabric. So what I need to do is I need to start in the corner here. So I'm going to start, can you see that? Can I move it? You can talk. Which way do you want me to move it? Kind of like that? Okay. So you're going to start from underneath here in this corner and bring the darning needle up and through. And you'll leave, I don't know, 4 inches, 6 inches, whatever you need to sew this in later on. Bring it up and through, and then you're going to do the same thing on this other corner. It's up and through. So you've got these two going. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see this, but I'd threaded it through the middle of a V, the middle of a stitch. So I'm going to do this one stitch at a time. I'm going to put this needle back through there, and I'm going to come up in the middle of the next V. So right there. And I'm going to pull that through. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the top. So I'm going to put it through the hole that I came up through originally, and I am going to bring it through, you can see, one V of a stitch. And pull it through. And you don't need to tighten it yet. I mean, this can be nice and loose. See how loose it is? So now I'm going to go back through where I just came out and go over one little V. See? It's an upside down V on this side. And pull it through. You can pull it kind of tight. You can pull on both ends. And then I'm going to go on the top and go through one regular V. Come on. Pull it through. Let me do this a couple more times and you can see. So there's an upside down V. I'm pulling it through. Now, see how loosey-goosey they are, as Sandy would say. You can just tighten them just a little bit. And it's kind of hard to see because it's on the garter stitch. It'll be more obvious in just a second. But these stitches will start to just kind of disappear. So up and through. You really just want it to be, and then up and through. In terms of how tight you're going to pull it basically as tight as the stitches from the garment are. So see, about that tight. See how it's starting to disappear. It's starting to just look like these pink ones are an extension of the pink one underneath it. And it becomes invisible that way. So we'll go up and under. And then up and under over here. Do it again. And it's kind of, I guess, laborious. I actually kind of like it because it kind of, I don't know. It starts to all come together once you do it. I probably do 3 or 4 stitches at a time, and then I kind of pull them all a little tight just to make sure the tension's okay. Let's go up and under. And then up and under. Oops, my ring. But you can tell if you start to look, you can't really even see it. You can't tell that we've done anything. How does that look? Does that seem pretty good? So you just keep going all the way across. I mean, obviously you want to make sure that that you're doing it evenly. You know, and you're going 1 stitch for 1 stitch, but yeah, if you look at it right there, I mean, you can't even tell. Or at least I can't. I think it's good enough. Works for me. To the top of its head, and it's a hood, so it's probably going to be hanging in the back anyway. That's my theory. I'm probably going to have mud on it or something. So, alright, so just do that. So I'm just going to keep going. You could actually even just pause it if you want, and I'll finish it, and then we can, so that you don't have to sit through it. And I'll show you what it's going to look like at the end. So that's how far I've gotten so far, and you can tell I could have probably pulled these just a little teeny bit tighter. You can see these little burrs or these little bumps. I probably could have dropped down a half of a stitch, but I think it looks fine. I think it looks great. So anyway, that's how you can sew the hood together and make it look pretty invisible. Here's what the inside looks like. Can you see that? So here's the end I need to sew in. This is where I started. And then here's just the nice little ridge on the inside. You know, and some people say that the inside of knitting is just as important as the outside. I think the outside's pretty important. But again, so this is my little sweater. Here's the hood that I'm doing. You can zoom out if you want. This is how it's going to look once I get done with, this is all I have left. Oops. Here's the little hood that I'm making for my friend Allison. She was my best friend, kindergarten through, I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And we made a deal, I guess, when we were in, I don't know, we must have been 6 years old, that whoever had the first kid, whoever had the first daughter, had to name their daughter Allosaurus. So for Allison and Laura, and she's having the first one. But for some reason her husband doesn't want to name the kid Allosaura. So it kind of bothers me, but I guess I'll get over it. We'll see what they end up naming her. But here's the little hood, here's the, and I'll block it out so that this, the garter stitch will kind of stick a little bit more out and look a little better. And I'll close this up. But that's it. So that's how to sew the hood together at the top and make it pretty invisible. I think it looks pretty nice. Works for me. It's for a kid. So I'm Laura from Jimmy Beans Wool, and thanks for watching, and I hope that was helpful.
Thunder rumbles on this American summer night. There's kids on the corner, stuck in a switchblade fight. And the rock and roll band play for the girls on the beach.